So, I'm sure you have all heard. Royale High has announced one of its biggest changes in recent years, the removal of the 2 times and the 4 times multiplier game passes. This update has sparked strong discussion across the community, so today we're going to fully break down what was announced, why the developers might be making this change, how it affects different types of players, and what this could mean for Royale High moving forward. By the way, this video isn't about taking sides, it's about understanding the situation from all perspectives. So, to understand this update, it's important to look at why multipliers became popular in the first place. Originally, Royale High had multiple ways to earn diamonds. It was through spawn points, level rewards, daily logins, and gameplay activities. Over time, some of these systems were removed or adjusted. When diamond spawn points were removed and leveling stopped giving diamonds, multipliers became one of the most efficient ways to maintain diamond income. For many players, multipliers filled the gap left by removed systems and became integrated into farming routines. From a balance standpoint, multipliers created larger income differences between players. When some players earn 2 or 4 times more diamonds from the same activities, it can contribute to price inflation in the trading economy and prices. This makes it harder for newer and free-to-play players to keep up. By removing multipliers and shifting rewards back to leveling and core gameplay, Royale High may be trying to create a more equal progression. Without multipliers, diamond income may slow down for some players, but level up rewards could help offset this depending on how the system is balanced. Let's talk about this using basic economic concepts. So, inflation happens when too much currency enters the system. When diamonds are generated too quickly, especially with multipliers, item prices rise. This is why rare items, sets, and halos have steadily increased over time. Supply and demand also play a role. When diamond supply increases faster than item availability, prices rise. From a game design perspective, removing multipliers may help stabilize the in-game economy. When high multipliers exist, inflation can occur, meaning item prices rise faster and newer players struggle to catch up. By adjusting diamond generation sources, the developers may be attempting to slow inflation and make long-term progression more sustainable. In theory, this could make items more attainable long-term, but if diamond income becomes too slow, it could discourage players, which is why finding a balance is key. One of the loudest reactions comes from players who feel they wasted hard-earned money. Let's be real, many saved Robux, used gift cards, or spent real-life money on multipliers because they were marketed as permanent game passes. For these players, the frustration isn't only about farming speed, it's about losing long-term value. From their perspective, multipliers weren't just temporary boosts, they were everyday tools. On the other side, some players, even those with multipliers, support the update and believe it's necessary for the game's long-term health. They argued that multipliers contributed to inflation and widened the gap between players. These players believed removing multipliers could make Royale High more fair and sustainable. While some players are actually genuinely happy, especially those who are new and those who are free to play, because they have often felt disadvantaged competing with multiplier owners. For them, removing the multipliers means a more level playing field. The return of level up diamonds also makes progression feel more beginner-friendly and rewarding. On the emotional side, some long-time players have expressed sadness and burnout. These are players who invested years into Royale High, financially and emotionally. For them, multipliers symbolize long-term commitment. When major systems change, it can feel like the game they grew up with is disappearing. This disconnect can lead players to step away or quit entirely. So let's talk about why I think this update has gotten quite a few flashbacks from the community. So I don't know if this is a reply or a separate post, but I can't find it anymore. So it says, once you buy a game pass, it's permanently tied to your account, and there isn't a built-in way for us or for Roblox to remove it and refund the Robux. Technically, we don't have to compensate anyone, but that wouldn't feel right. The replacement items are generally really good and you'll actually get more diamonds than if you bought them directly from the shop. So I think this statement has caused most of the frustration because the wording is, I think, a little bit kind of out of touch or in bad taste. So they said that technically we don't have to compensate anyone. I understand what they mean from a technical standpoint. Game passes are tied to accounts and refunds aren't really possible, and Roblox has rules. So that part makes sense. However, for players, this situation feels different. Many people spent real money on multipliers believing they were a long-term feature. When something you paid for is removed, compensation doesn't feel like a bonus. It feels like a reasonable expectation. I do appreciate that Royal High chose to compensate players and that the replacement items have values. That shows effort. But what rubs me wrong is the phrasing. It comes across a bit uncomfortable because it frames compensation as optional rather than as acknowledgement of player investment. This isn't about entitlement or being ungrateful, it's about communication and trust. A more reassuring message, preferably one that centers player experience, would have likely been received much better. Overall, the update itself isn't the main issue. I feel like it was the way it was communicated, and it made the players feel unheard. Still, I want to explain why, for us many players, why the compensation still doesn't feel sufficient. When we bought the multiplayer game passes, we weren't just buying items or diamonds. We were paying for a system that permanently affected how we played the game. Multipliers changed progression, grinding time, and overall gameplay experience. That value wasn't one time, it was ongoing. So, when that system is removed, even generous replacement items can't fully replace what was lost. But a multiplier consistently supported players every time they logged in and played the game. I do appreciate that Royal High offered compensation, and I believe the intention was good. However, I feel like the compensation feels more like a one-time payout for something that provided long-term benefits. For players who plan their gameplay around these multipliers, especially those who saved or spent real money specifically for them, the replacement doesn't fully match the value of what they paid for. What could this update mean? Well, one of the biggest concerns is farming speed. Without multipliers, players may need more time to earn diamonds. If level up rewards are balanced well, farming could feel consistent. Well, if not, the progression may feel slower or more demanding. This especially affects players with limited playtime. I do want to acknowledge the positive part, which is they are bringing back the diamonds when leveling up, which is what the community has been asking for years. Because, well, it makes progression feel meaningful again and helps free-to-play players, which is why I think this is a step in the right direction. Well, what about its long-term impact? Well, this update could shape Royal High's future. If implemented well, it could improve fairness and stabilize the economy. If handled poorly, it could increase burnout and reduce engagement. This makes the rollout phase extremely important. Royal High removing diamond multipliers marks a major shift in progression. Whether this becomes a positive turning point or a controversial update, well, it depends on execution. As always, community feedback will and always matters. If you play Royal High, share your thoughts below. How do you think this update will affect your experience?